Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hey, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well. I just said that, but hey, doing well again. Yeah, so let's have a talk real quick. Yeah, so maybe some of you don't know. I'll go ahead and specify exactly what's going on. So my name's Jeremy Morheim. That's who I am. I am an actual, I guess you would say like a game developer. I used to work in a couple studios. I worked in at Bungie for a while. I worked at Undead Labs for a while. I worked at some variant companies, specifically. But those are the main two. I worked as a QA tester in both of those positions. I worked exclusively to bring out content that happened for Destiny 2 as well. I worked on specifically content for State of Decay 2. So these are the things that I kind of did. I'm a huge advocate for the game industry. I find myself most of the time having a little bit of issue with some things that are going on in the industry right now. One of those things that's going on in the industry, especially this is what happened this week, um, was the side of WB Entertainment, their games group, had some restructuring inside of their actual like different studios that they had. So as of right now, there was some like major, I guess like how can I explain it well? It seemed like the studios that were kind of having more help were starting to see that they weren't getting the help that was necessary. When that started happening, it did seem from what I could understand is that there were kind of studios that have been working on stuff, they've been building stuff for a very long time. They've even some of them actually released something. It didn't go over well, but it was still, pretty good. It was still something that mattered, Um, and these studios got got shuttered. They got shut down. Um, this comes from side of like the industry of like games being as a business as of right now, being more so that they're attached to um, games as a service, building content for people over and over again. And then on that side of it, be give me one sec. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, not very important. All right, so on that side, because things are getting moving to that direction, a lot of different companies are not able to really build their content to be the best that they like, the to kind of keep up with how the actual organization, the actual corporate side of things are actually working out. Um, And because of this, like we've seen a lot of industry layoffs. I was affected by one of those. I was affected on September of last year. I was laid off for the company that I was working for, and that was a tough ride. And the thing is when you're actually a studio that's been working on something, especially for about 3 years, 5 years, depending on what you're working on, it's when the actual studio gets closed, when the studio is actually affected by some sort of closure, it hurts a lot more um, than you would actually like think about specific just layoffs. The thing is that in that time when you're actually going through that process, layoffs kind of have this open-ended, okay, there's a possibility that I could come back. There's a possibility that there's going to be a chance that I'll have the opportunity to be able to come back and actually work and stuff. And with an actual company in itself, like when it actually closes down, there's no opportunity for that. There's no actual like guarantee that you're going to be able to come back. And with how the industry is right now with the many layoffs, it's even harder at this point. Um, so the studios that were affected, which were, Monolith, Striking Distance, there were, I think it was like Warner Brothers as well too, that was over in California. There was a lot of those companies that were closed this week. Um, One of the big ones, and the other one as well too, the one of the big ones is Monolith. Monolith was a studio that's been around for a very long time. They created Condemned, Criminal Origin. They created Fear. They worked on Blood. If you ever heard of that, Blood is like kind of a boomer shooter, I guess is what you would call it, but it was like one of the predated, like kind of closer. Well, it was in the same kind of realm as Doom during that time. They worked on Aliens versus Predator. And then one of the bigger games that people know them well from is the Shadow of Mordor series and the Shadow of War. Like those two games were the most recent things that they did. They were working specifically on a Wonder Woman game. They were on on that side of it. They've been working for about 3 years before. I think it's sorry, 3 or 5, but it was either 3 or 5 years they've been working on that uh, since the actual release of Shadow of War. So during that time, they were putting effort, they were pushing, they were building stuff, they were using new technology, they were using new engines, they were working on something fantastic. They were actually doing some stuff. And I believe with Monolith that if Wonder Woman could have came out, I think it would have been something that could have changed DC games like the Batman Arkham series did. Um, so I feel extremely bad for that side of it. Monolith, I knew people that worked at Monolith that actually got their start in QA testing with Monolith. Those people were amazing. They were really good at their job and they had passion. They had passion for the industry, they had passion for games that they were working on. So, you know, because of that, like it just hurts me more to think about the fact that nobody can go back. Nobody can actually walk back into Monolith. Nobody can actually, be in that really nice office that was over in Kirkland. Like there was it's just I don't know. It's just really unfortunate because there is no reprieve, there is no build up. There actually all those people are getting put into the unemployment situation as well too of trying to find jobs when 3,000 other jobs, I believe it could be estimated at more, 3,000 other jobs are also, you know, people are trying to fight for the industry to get back into that workforce. We're all very passionate. We're all wanting to do that. We're all trying to build ourselves up to be great game developers because we care about it. We care about the games that we work on. We work very hard to care about those games. And it's a situation where people that are higher up, especially in the corporate ladder, look at that as being something that they can use and utilize and hurt developers that actually are doing the best that they possibly can to make content that would revolutionize or possibly, be something that would, make this franchise e- exciting again, with the Arkham series, Rocksteady did all that. They made it to where they could do what they wanted and they could build that and then it helped DC in general. I think that Monolith could have done the same for Wonder Woman and it would have been really cool to see what they were actually developing in that side. So, talking about Striking Distance too, Striking Distance was also the company that worked on Multiverses, which, was a game that was going to be more of a Smash Brothers like, it had some really cool WB characters like Shaggy and Batman and, there was some really cool stuff that they're building. The thing is that they were able to get the funding that they could get to make other stuff through Warner Brothers. They had that opportunity. And they built Multiverses, and yeah, okay, it's understandable that it had um some problems when it came out, and yeah, some people just didn't, jive with it. There was just no there was people that kind of looked at it differently. They didn't see that it stood up, and I get that. Like, I get that as a customer perspective, that that can happen. But the thing is that you get started in this studio as of oh, we can do these things. We can build this content. We can make the stuff that we want to make. We could bring in new characters because we have the licenses for those characters. We have, something that is going to evolve and going to become, you know, a major thing, but then was taken and riddled with microtransactions and used as a game as a surface, only to then be promoted to die. And that's terrible too. Um, so I feel bad for both companies. I feel bad for the other companies too that, were laid off, that they were trying to also help. What we got at WB right now is we got WB Montreal, we got Rocksteady, and then we have, just a couple other places. The main, I feel like the main two, of course, there's other games too that are working on. Somebody's working on Game of Thrones. Some, of course, NetherRealm's working on Mortal Kombat. So there is definitely like actual companies that are working with WB that are great companies. And I worry about their sake. I worry about what's going to happen down the line for them. Because if it's so easy to let go of a company that has been there for years upon years, that started this whole, you know, origin story, pretty much, this whole franchises, if they're easily able to be shuttered and be closed, then what's going to happen when other games don't really hit the targets that they're looking for? Are they going to be closed too? Will we never see another Mortal Kombat game? Will we never see another Rocksteady Batman game? Like, will we have problems with that? And that's the scariest part, because I think with any type of studio shutting down, from my perspective as well as other people's perspective, it's it scares the shit out of us. It scares us because their targets are trying to, they're actually trying to meet those targets, and they're working really hard to meet those targets. And the fact that even though some of the companies hit their targets, that doesn't specifically give them a shield against what could happen. Um, and that's the industry right now. That's how things are working out. People are seeing that games as a service is quote unquote working in some cases, and they're picking that over, actual dev teams, actual creative people, to better their own pockets. And it's a hard situation. It is. And this is not all companies by any means. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not pitchfork and corporate, like, I'm not, because not every company is that way. And I imagine that Warner Brothers may feel bad about the closing of these studios. It's devil's advocate on this side, but maybe it's a possibility. And, you know, it's not easy having to make decisions like that. It's coming from an empathetic part of it. It's like, it is business, but I don't think there's people that are not affected. Not even the side of, like, of course, developers being affected, but the side of people who had to make that decision. It's no way that you cut it, no way that you actually subdivide it, nothing like that. It's all shit. It's the same block of shit that everybody's cutting into. And, this has been a huge rant by me, but it's the durability of the industry, the actual ironclad, what it felt like back in the day, is gone. There is no ironclad technique. There is no way to keep yourself, set there. It's every day that you actually are able to develop something, and every day that you're able to bring out a product, like, that is a day worth fighting for. And, I hope that the people that were affected by all this don't lose sight of the fact that they can also feel that way. They can also feel passionate, keep going on that side. I know for a fact, 6 months ago, when I actually went through my layoff process, I was pissed. I was angry. I wasn't angry at my studio. I was angry at the way that the industry is. I was angry at the fact that things are being changed very rapidly, and it was disheartening. It was like, take away the thing that it matters the most to you. Like, take away that game that you've been working on. Take away the side that you were going to bring that game out. That's defeating. It's really defeating. And I hope that these people that were affected don't lose that. Don't lose that passion. Don't lose the be angry, bargain, be able to go through the stages of grief, because you deserve to be able to do that. And then on that side, start applying, start trying, don't give up, because at this point in time, there is a lot of people out there that need help as far as development goes, and they're going to be, you're going to be important. You're going to be something that people will take. You're going to be able to get into the industry again, and you're going to make awesome content. And that's what matters. And for all the other stuff, that's what matters. Um, this was a big rant. I know that it's get in there, but I'm very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about the games industry. I've worked in it for 10 years, and I hope that we can all get through this together. I think it's a major thing that we all should be able to get through this together. So, with that being said, I'm changing the structure of today. I was going to be playing Dragon Quest Monsters today to kind of go through that whole process, and work on the retro achievement grind, and actually keep doing that. But I felt like today would be a good day to go ahead and look back at some of the things that Monolith did. One of the things that I haven't really played, which I feel bad about, it's at this point in time, is I never played Shadow of Mordor as much as I could have. I think it came in that time where there's just a lot of like, Batman and different things like that coming out are that just kind of maybe made me a little bit tired of that specific genre. But, I've always wanted to go back to it. I always wanted to play it. So I thought we could give that a chance. Let's go ahead and do that together. And we'll see exactly, you know, a in memoriam really just of Monolith and how cool they are and how passionate they were. So that's what we're going to do today. It's going to be a rocky road because I haven't set up a lot of the stuff, but we're going to give it a shot. So moving over to the game side of it, let's give this a shot here. Hopefully things will work from our last time playing Zomboid. We'll see. Some of the stuff, I tried playing it a little bit earlier and everything, and when I was trying to build it and trying to play it, I was like, oh yeah, it would be really cool to give this a chance to see, to play it myself. And